If you're feeling good, say yeah.
Yeah.
If you love yourself, say oh, 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 yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Say I love myself.
I love myself.
Say I love myself.
I love myself.
Say I love, 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 love myself.
Love myself.
That's right. That's the way we love hip hop. Well, it's an honor to be here, of course, with my Virgo friend, family member. Actually, you know, Nikki D. She's just a wonderful person. And give her another round of applause, of course.
Thank you. Thank you.
Here we go. So, keepers of the culture, I'm Easy AD. I'll give you a little bit more about me a little later on. All right. So anyway, I want you to do this. I want you to use your imagination. I want you to imagine a world with no cell phone. I would like for you to imagine the world where you have to go to the store to buy your music. I want you to imagine a world when there's only 13 channels on television and the channels go off at midnight.
Wow.
I want you to imagine a world when there is no internet. All right? I want you to imagine a world where there is no social media. That's my life. All right. So that's where hip hop group came out of. A world with no those. Turn it up a little bit. Turn it. Give me a little more guys. Clap your hands one time for me.
Yo, what up, D Nice?
Yo, what's up, Scott LaRock?
Okay.
Yo, man, we chillin' this funky
So when
fresh
I
jam.
say hip,
I want to tell
you
you a little
say
something about us.
hop.
We're the Brooklyn
Hip,
Production crew.
hip.
Due to the fact that no
When
one
I
outside
say
knew what
hip,
time it was,
you say
let me
hop.
tell you a little something
Hip.
about where we come from.
All right, I come from the South Bronx. Now, South Bronx is where hip hop was created. All right, so hip hop is not just music. Woo! But we did play music out in the park. All right. Now, I'm giving you from my point of reference, right? Everyone has their own point of reference where hip-hop began, okay? Point of reference that I'm giving you is my point of reference. In November 12, 1973, hip-hop was created in the South Bronx. Give the South Bronx a round of applause. The culture of hip-hop shares messages through music, words, dance, and graffiti, all right? Now, the culture was created to be inclusive, bringing all people together, all right? Now, the adoption of these messages through actions of lifestyle is called overstanding. Now, some of you probably never heard that word used in that way. Now, when you overstand the information, you take the information, you absorb it, you regurgitate it, and you share with everybody you know. So you overstand it. You go in the information. You understand what it's all about. So, hip-hop is a dynamic culture that can be used to create positive change. That's what we're doing, positivity. Okay, so here we go. Now, through the power of hip-hop, we can help change the world in many positive ways. Give hip-hop a round of applause. Because I am hip-hop. Okay, so now, for the sake of time, I like to just go into the 4 elements of hip-hop just to make it really simple. But before I begin, I'd like to give a real big shout out to my brother who came up. He's the originator. His name is DJ Tony Tone from Legendary Cold Brothers. He created the name. He put me down, and we've been going on forever. So let's give Tony Tone a round of applause. And tomorrow is Tony Tone's birthday. So let's go. The first element of hip-hop is what?
DJing.
I didn't hear you.
DJing.
DJing set it off. Without the DJ, there is no hip-hop. All right, so now the first DJ, his name is DJ Kool Herc. We call him, he's from the beginning, right? Herc started it all. He came out in the park, he brought his sound system out to the park and he played one turntable first, as somebody's calling out in the audience. I'm gonna keep that down low, all right? and he played music. The music brought people together. We call them park jams, right? Then he got 2 turntables. And then he would blend the beat of the music and make it funky. It was incredible. Now, this is one of the songs he played in the park. Clap your hands to the song. All right, that's enough of that. But that's the song, you know, you played that, when you hear that, the music, the vibration of that music made you want to move. It made you want to have fun. It made you want to do everything that your parents told you should not do in the park. But most of all, it brought people together. Now, everyone say Africa Bambaataa. Now, the reason why we call Africa Bambaataa the master of records, because little do you know that he played music from every genre of music, everywhere, anywhere. Anywhere you could name, any song you could play, he played it. Master of records, he brought it together. But one of the most important things that Bam did, he would bring people together. Bam had a hand in creating the mighty Zulu Nation. We have one of the queens of the Zulu Nation here today. I'll talk about her a little bit later on. So he was the master of records when we had jams in the park, right? I always say jams, right? We call them park jams, right? In the park. In the day, after dark, he would play music. Now, he made this song that helped propel hip-hop to another world. And here it goes. Check this out.
Party people, can yo get funky?
You want to get funky?
Suicide folks, can yo get funky?
Come on, y'all. Let me see. Clap your hands.
Can yo get funky? Yeah, just hit me. Just hit the
Planet Rock, baby. Planet Rock change. Planet Rock the planet. But I'm talking about before the records. Now, we have another brother, another DJ. So I'm talking about the DJ. His name is Grandmaster Flash. Now, Grandmaster Flash was a showman. He would take us a record, and it would be an endless beat. He would go back and forth. He was a showman. He spun around. He was just like, he changed the complexion of being a DJ. He brought it up to another level. It became a show. But he would just take a record, go back and forth. So we call him Grandmaster Flash because he was really fast on the turntables. Now, those of you who don't know what turntables are apparatuses that you use to put records on. Records are called wax. You go to the store, you buy it, put it on there, put the needle on. The vibration is incredible. Now, the difference between, a lot of people talk about the difference between what's going on today and then is the way that the music vibrated in your brain, right? So you had a diamond needle. The diamond needle into the handle of the turntable, vibrated out through the speakers. It changed the complexity and way you feel. Music is therapy. Grandmaster Flash was a showman, and he brought you excitement on the turntables and therapy. You see that picture right there? He's on the turntable, and he was incredible. Grandmaster Flash was one of the first DJs I saw do a lot of those things, those tricks on the turntables, spinning around and all that, so give him a round of applause, along with the other DJs. I feel so good because, you know, I'm here with you today. So here we go. This is one of the songs he played here. I want to give you a little bit of music history, too. He used to play this, it's called
Dance and Drummer's Beat.
Dance. Just Dance to the Drummer's Beat. As you know, everything has a beat, right? Like the heart has a beat, hip-hop has a beat, too. Now, Grand Wizard Theodore, he invented scratching. So when you hear that, zigga, 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 or you hear anybody scratching, he created that. Grand Wizard Theodore also had showmanship. He was really fast on the turntables. Thanks to his brother, Mean Gene and Cordio, he's here today. He's part of the fabric of the hip-hop culture. And here's a song that will to show you something to understand what scratching is about. Here we go. Okay, scratching, turntable. Unfortunately, we didn't patent that, because if we patented that, I probably wouldn't be here talking to you today. I'll be in another zip code. But I'm very happy that that didn't happen, because what happens is it seems like the more money you get, the less connected you are with people. And I always want to be connected to the people. That's what hip-hop is about. Hip-hop is about the people. It's about changing people's lives and the vibration of what they do. Now, this brother here, DJ Starsky. DJ Starsky was one of the first DJ MCs in the culture of hip-hop. And I'm going to keep saying that word, culture of hip-hop. because hip hop is a culture. And if you don't know what culture is, then you need to go look it up in several different languages, different dictionaries, and get the definition. So Lovebug Starsky had a unique saying. He used to say this. He used to say this thing. To the bob of a bob, a dang dang diggy 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 up jump. Oh, you heard that before? It wasn't Kid Rock. He started that. It came from him originally. So I'm telling you, this is the people or persons who are at the beginning of the culture, who helped build the culture. Like they were the bricks and the foundation in which hip hop was built on. All right. So his name is Lovebug Starsky. Let's give him a round of applause. And this is a song that he made. I just want to give you a little taste. I want to give you all. So B-boys and B-girls. Now, B-boying, we didn't have any B-girls in the B at first, right? Because the girls, at first, we didn't have any. Because the girls didn't want to get down on the floor. And get, it wasn't that. But let me tell you what happened when hip-hop was being created. The older generation, who are our older brothers and sisters, they would listen to a sound of music called disco. We didn't like it. We didn't like it. It was the worst music ever. So we had to create something that came out of our soul and our body and our mind and our brains that represented who we are. And that was hip hop. So b-boying, what they used to do back in the beginning of the days, they used to put a cardboard box on the ground, sometimes, right? Because sometimes they didn't. And they used to backspin, front spin, roll on the floor. And the adults used to say this: that bibbidi-bop stuff ain't going nowhere. What are you doing? Get up off the floor. And the people at the disco, was playing disco, if a beat came on in a disco club and you got down on the floor, they would stop the music and say, we don't do that here. Take that down to Cool Herc Party. So that's what we feel about disco. It's not here anymore. Hip hop is here. It shows you. All right, so here we go. Now, some of the first B-boys, first of all, I'm going to say they were called the Nigga Twins. And Keith and Kevin, they would be a jam at the park, and they'd be playing a song, something like this. And Keith and them had on long coats. One would be on that side, one would be on that side. They would stop at each other like this. They would walk together and start spinning around. And then jump up in the B-boy stand. That was it. That was it. But it was dope. It was dope. And people waited to see that move. They were waiting like, oh, they go Keith, they go Kevin. Now, they had on trench coats, and we didn't think it was anything negative. Okay? It was all love. They had trench coats. It was summer, 150 degrees. Now I want to give a couple of acknowledgments to different crews. All right, so we're going to give an acknowledgement to one of the top crews out there, Rocksteady crew. And the reason why we call them their world renowned because they took hip hop all over the world. And as you see, there's a young lady in the group. Her name is Baby Love. Let's give her a round of applause. And their DJ was DJ Africa Islam. Give him a round of applause. And here's one of the songs. You're gonna hear that song a lot. That's called Apache. Another group I want to represent today is called New York City Breakers. There was Prestige. Some of them, one of the guys in the middle, he's a B-boy, but he was in New York City Breakers. He was in the movie, whatever movie is called. I'm not gonna say the movie because I wasn't in it, but they had flavor. To be a B-boy, you had to be in shape. To be a B-boy, you had to have flair. To be a B-boy, you had to be on the ground, flipping, doing your thing. To be a B-boy, you had to have what they say, sens. You had to have flavor, okay? Here's another song they used to play. Is it the same song? Oh, yeah, same song. Anyway, all right, so graffiti is the words, the art. Now, just recently in New York City, some graffiti artists sprayed a Q train. He sprayed it up. Now, it was beautiful to me, but they call it vandalism, right? So in the early days of graffitis, the graffiti artists used to sneak into the train yards, whether it was pitch dark black or they used lights, they used to spray paint the entire train, and we call it tagging. They tagged the trains. I thought the trains were beautiful. But, you know, according to New York City, it was called vandalism, and they're destroying city property. So what happened with the graffiti artists, they got sophisticated. They went from the train yards to the canvases, and they started making lots of money, and $15,000, $20,000, and all that stuff for their piece. So graffiti is the words of the culture of hip-hop, and is beautiful. Okay, so I'm just going to give some acknowledgments to some of the early graffiti writers. Phase 2, Ventura 2000, Don D, and Stay High. You can research them. You can Google them. All right, so here we go. Oh, my God. MC. I'm an MC. I know how to flow. All right? Master of ceremony, mic controller, move the crowd. However you want to feel it, that's what we do. Now, when the MC stepped into the game, it changed everything. It made hip-hop a commodity. They were able to make money off it because of the MCs. But the MCs also they shared their stories about how they lived in the community and what was going on in our community. They called the CNN of hip-hop here. So we're just going to give some acknowledgement to one of the groups. Now, when hip-hop first began, it was all about the groups. It wasn't about solo artists. So this is a group, the Furious Five. And here's one of their early songs. They're at the beginning. Check this out.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3, and listen to this, just listen to this, just listen to this, just listen to this. Follow you MC in a crew. This is what we want y'all to do.
That's hot. Give a round of applause. That's the Furious Five, y'all. Another group, Funky 4 plus 1. The plus one more is the young lady. Her name is Shy Rock. And they were clean, and it was crispy, and their sound system, when they got on the microphone, it seemed like they were inside of your body. That's how clean their system was. And here's a song that they made.
If you're ready for this,
Say you're ready for this.
if you're ready for this.
Say you're ready for this.
Funky 4, okay, we're gonna move a little quicker. I don't wanna take up all the time. We have the Fantastic Five MC, they're the showmen. The ladies love Fantastic because they look good. Fantastic also helped propel hip-hop to another level from the MC standard. And because MCing was dying at one time. All they were saying is this: to the beat, y'all, freak, y'all, and you don't stop. They injected some stuff and changed the level. So here's something that they used to rock before they get on. This is called 7 Minutes of Funk. I'll say it around, but I don't have that much time. All right, so here we go. Now this is my group, the Cold Crush 4. We set the standard of hip-hop. We changed the complexity of how hip-hop MCs get on. If you see Run DMC, you see the Cold Crush. You see a lot of groups, you see the Cold Crush. We set the standard for it. Here we go. Here's the song that we played, we got on stage. That's Bob James the Bell, a little jazz there for you. All right, so we did park jams. Give a round of applause. And this is a song we played in the park. So this is one of the parks that we played. It's called 63 Park. We had a lot of fun there. Another park we played in was 82 Park. Another park we played in was 18 Park. Another park we played in was Arthur Park. Also, 123 Park. So this is where the places we did our jams and our parties. It would be 5,000, 6,000, a lot of people. Guess what? There was no fighting. But if there was a fight, the crowd threw you out the park. The crowd picked you up and said, get out of here, we're having too much fun. That's what it was about. Okay, so here we go. Flyers. We did our own advertisement. We did our own thing. We was our own machine. We did the flyers. We booked the place. So this is some of the flyers that we use in our advertisement here. Just take a look at them. These are all things. I'm a collector. That's what we collector of the keeper of the culture. I have these. So this is how we advertised the parties back in the days. And where's it? Oh, cassette tapes. Now, I'm going real quick. That's a radio. We didn't call it a boombox. That's a radio. A radio. That's all it was. It's a radio. You walk around. You always had one person in the neighborhood who would walk around with his radio with the cassette tapes on. Cassette tapes the cassette tapes was recorded from the previous shows of that week. If you was hot, you was in that box. We was hot. We was in every box. Our tapes were so hot that if you put your box down and you look this way, you turn around, it will be gone. And nobody, where's the Cold Crush tape at? So that was it, all right? And These are some of the clubs we played in: Exit Garage, the Roxy, Harlem World, and T Connection. All right, so we already know this question. Where was hip hop created? We know where it was created. South Bronx.
Yo.
All right, that's it here. I'm moving quickly. I'm Easy AD from legendary Cold Crush Brothers, and I'm a member of the Cold Crush Brothers. I am Cold Crush Brothers. DJ Tony Tony has pictured me in 1981 when we battled the Fantastic Five, and that's a picture of me in 1981 with my gangster suit on. I still have that. And here's another picture of me at the Disco Fever.
Wow.
I still have that too. All right, Keep on the culture. Wild Side was the first hip hop movie ever made, and I bow to the Queen.
That was awesome, AD. That was awesome, awesome, awesome. Give AD from the Cold Crush Brothers. Oh my God, so much love. That was interesting. We always said educating each other. I love that. Well, hello everybody. My name is Nikki D, and as they said to you, I am the first female rapper signed to Def Jam Records, one of the first major record labels in the industry for hip hop. I was lucky enough to come from California on a Greyhound bus with a dream and like $5 and lied to my mother in LA and said, hey, I want to be the first female rapper on Def Jam. Russell Simmons is waiting for me. All lies. But when you see it, and if anybody in here knows anything about the law of intention, thoughts become things, you see it, you can have it, that's exactly what it was without me even knowing that's what I was doing. So be real and know that whatever you want, if you see it, you absolutely 100% can have it. You just need to walk in the direction. All right, so AD gave you all this wonderful culture about hip hop in the beginning of it and how everything was just came from the streets. Well, at some point, it had to become a business, right? So that's where I come in at. The business of hip hop, the history and the evolution of it. So let me just ask a question. If anybody in here is familiar with the business of music at all? Anybody? And this is Set G from the Ultramagnetic MCs, just in case you didn't know. Another icon in the building. And he's definitely a part of the business because when you put your record out, it was definitely about the business. All right, so I'll just get you started with this and let you know. All this wonderful glam and glitz and all this stuff you see with these artists, first of all, if we go with 100%, only 10% of that is the artist. 90% of this business is the business of it all. And how does that work? You have a label. Where do the labels come in at? Somebody has to house this music. Somebody has to fund it. Somebody has to create it. Somebody has to put it out. Somebody has to distribute it. Somebody has to shoot the video. Somebody has to give it guidance. And that's where labels come in. Today you have a label like DJ Khaled, which we're a lot familiar with. He has a label called We The Best. His Def Jam's recording, the label I was on. Rockefeller Records, we're all familiar with Jay-Z. And, well, that's Maybach Music, Rick Ross. I just put a few up there. I don't have all the bells and whistles that AD had, but I got some information. So there won't be any music, there'll just be me. All right, so how does a record label operate? Like any other corporation. So once they realize they can actually make money from all this, that's not gonna go nowhere, guess what? That's where it went. There's a whole system created because this is now a business. And of course, you have a CEO like any other corporation, chief executive operator, right? Officer, I'm sorry. Gonna run the whole ship. Then you have the COO, you have legal, you have the chief financial officer. You see all these wonderful things, executive administrator, the president. This whole branch right here at the top, all the way down to executive administration, when you first see it, that's where all the money is happening. That's where all the big dogs at. That's where the meeting is. That's the door you want to get past. And now we're going to create the music. You have the vice president of A&R, marketing, publicity. You have a promotions department. You see all those branches, those drop downs? These are all the departments that keep creating all this wonderful stuff. You have the director of A&R. You know what A&R is? Artist and repertoire. I think it's something they just kind of made up. But these are the people that actually find the music. These are people that when you get that artist, they have to set up budgets for them. They have a budget that they're working with. They have to go into the studio. They have to find their producer. They have to make sure that the records that they're making are commercially acceptable. They cannot just go out because you said a dope rhyme, because your 16 bars was so hot. Oh my God, you are so dope. But can you sell a record? There's a lot of artists out there. There's tons of them. Everybody's not going to be a star. There has to be a machine in order to move you to that next level. Has to be a machine. Or you're just going to sit like the rest of them. I know plenty of people who are so hot, ready to go, on fire, but you will not. So I usually do this with a class or a program that I teach. And I teach the youth that there are other options in the music industry besides being an artist. If you take on one of these, you'll be there forever. There's always going to be a hot artist. You know what I mean? There's always going to be somebody coming through trying to shine and be that next big thing. There'll always be that. So just know that this is the way it used to go. You see all these wonderful jobs here? Yes, we're ready. Let's go. Let's get that money. All those wonderful people, these are all the people that work in that whole branch that I just showed you. That I just showed you with their hands up and all that money. Guess what? Now, all these people are either doing one of two things. They're either creating the money or they're maintaining the money. But they better do whatever they need to do because you either for it or you're for it. You cannot be against it or you out the door. We don't believe in red. We don't believe in negatives. We don't believe in any of that in the music industry. Either you're popping or you're not. It's a product. It needs to move. It needs to move out the door. It needs to be positive as far as money is concerned. It is a business. Now we need an artist. All they need now is the artist. Please, we need somebody to just sign a deal. We need to make somebody hot. We need to make it happen. We find artists. We got Cardi B, Offset. We have Drake. We have Kodak Black. Look at all that jewelry. They just look like they ate so much money, and they absolutely did. You know why? Because they got a wonderful glorified bank loan is what I call it. It's called a budget. You get a budget to record your album. You get a budget to shoot a video. You get a budget to do publicity. You get a budget. All those people in that flow chart, they all have budgets to work with each album, each artist. They all get a budget. Cardi B, we'll say, for example, hypothetically, we're going to give her $1 million. Within that $1 million, she better make all the albums, all the songs, rather. We better get all the publicity we can out of it. And she better sell $20 million because we're going to need all that money back with interest. It's a glorified bank loan. That's all it is. That was then, this is now. And even back then, it took a while to actually make an album. It was, who's on the release schedule? Oh, my God, this one's coming out. Run DMC is coming out? Well, then we need to push LL Cool J back because we can't have the bumping of the heads. We're going to waste our money. We're going to waste our budget. We need to make sure we're in the clear lane before we put out any of these records, which is what they were called back then. Everything today is just a wave, MP3, just a dot, an email away. So that's the artist, right? Gonna give them all that cash. Yes, everything costs money. That's all it is a business. Artist development. So now we're developing them. Like I said, we're gonna now put together the complete project. Now we're taking the budget and we're breaking it down. Now we're gonna separate everything. We have the A&R. The A&R has a budget. You get to record. The publicity department has a budget. You get to set up your program. We might even need some media prep for the artists because they might walk into a room and be like, yo, what's up? Yeah, it's me. I'm the shit. Yeah, what? But you don't want that all the time on camera now, do we? You need them to walk in and go, hey, how you doing? You don't need them to not be themselves, but they need to know how to speak and come off to the world. It doesn't mean you change who you are. It means that you become universal because if you're going to become a product that the world loves, then the world needs to love you. And then at the same time, guess what? You have Cardi B. But back then, we didn't have those options. You understand? Back then, you had to be commercially acceptable. It was unacceptable to say ass and all these certain things on the radio. Now, I don't even know if I'm listening to the radio. I think it's cable in the car. Like, you know what I mean? Like, is it me? But you got all these curse words now on the radio, which to me it's annoying. But I do not hate the culture that is hip-hop today. I appreciate all levels of it. I know it evolves, so we have to evolve with it. We don't have to like it, but we have to know that it exists. All right, so we got to develop the artist. Boom. After we develop this artist, we put all this wonderful stuff together. We have a package. That's a nice picture. Cardi was pregnant here, too. She did a thing. And I'm using her as an example because she's a prime example of what big business is today. She did every single thing she needed to do to be that artist. Every single thing. Now, she started off initially on just Instagram like everybody else. Then they found her. She already had 500,000 followers. Then they found her through on reality TV. Everything goes up now. Everybody's like, who is this loudmouth? I don't care. I'll fight everybody. Shoot to anybody head. Like, people just seem to be more drawn to, I won't say ignorance, but that type of energy in hip hop, and they left out the information. Somebody like AD was giving out information. Somebody like KRS-One, information. Public Enemy, information. Nikki D, information. My song was called Daddy's Little Girl. It was about teenage pregnancy. We were giving out information. Today, it's all about entertainment completely. You learn absolutely nothing today. And it's fine if you just want to be entertained, but we like to tell people. We like to, like he said, we talked about the struggle. And, you know, what happened in your neighborhood. And it's not always about a struggle. You know, you might, like Tupac, Dear Mama, you know, it was a struggle with his mom, but you also had songs about people you cared about. You also had songs about how you loved your mama. You know what I mean? So there was always information going on. But today, everything is just do it. Just make it sound as raunchy and ratchet as possible, and you're going to win. So we're talking about history versus evolution. So again, back then, a lot of information. Today, just put out something that's going to make the people move. You're going to make a lot of money. Here comes the big payback. Well, we gave Cardi B $1 million. She only sold 2 million records. Her contract says she gets 25 cents. Follow me. We gave her, I'm going to give you even a low number, $100,000. We gave her 25 cents on a dollar. That's her money. That's what she's making, 25 cents on a dollar of every album that sells for, say, $10. But Cardi didn't write any music. Cardi didn't pay for any music. Cardi didn't pay for a video. She didn't pay for anything. The label paid for everything. So 25 cents on a dollar, and you owe a label all this money, how are you going to recoup? You don't. You're just in the red for the rest of your life. You're just always owing and owing and owing. And back then, contracts were 10 years or better. You had to give them 5 to 10 albums. You know what I mean? It was all about what they could do, how they could squeeze you, because it was a big thing at that point. Nobody really cared about hip-hop until it became really, really commercial, and it was like, oh my God, Rappers Delight, what is that? And that wasn't even the first big record, but it was the first big record that the world knew about, you know, that they put on wax. You know what I mean? Even the formats of music back then, from cassette tape or vinyl, cassette tape, then CD. And again, fast forward now, MP3, a wave, a shout out. You know what I mean? I did this on my phone. Technology is your label today. So if we go all the way back, right? If we go all the way back, and we talk about the only thing you need today, the only thing you're going to see here today, if you're putting out a record or an album or an MP3 or something digital online, all you need is yourself. You're the CEO. You need an attorney, and you need an accountant. You have social media as your marketing tool. You have social media as your publicity. You have social media as your fan base. It's already there for you. You have to do absolutely no work, but you do need to know how to use it. A lot of people say, oh, just put it on Instagram, just put it on YouTube. Lies. Doesn't work that easy. You still need to know how to do it. So there are still professionals in this industry that you still need to hire, but you don't have to spend $1 million now. I can buy ads for $5, $10, $15 on Instagram and promote anything I want. And I can pick the demographic. I can say I want only people in Asia to see it. I want only people in, you know, Bahamas or wherever to see it. Anywhere in the world I pick on my demographic, I can have anybody I want to see it. So today versus yesterday, all of this is dead and gone. Now, there are still labels, but they're only signing those who are already moved from the independent stream themselves. Take somebody like the late, great Nipsey Hussle. Nipsey built a whole business all on his own before he even got to a label. This guy was selling mixtapes for $100. Who's buying a mixtape for $100? He had a line around the corner. He also bought real estate where he lived in L.A., Crenshaw and Slauson, bought a whole strip. Because he realized that the only way he was actually going to be able to control his music, his masters, and to create an album that was actually comfortable and one that he wanted to put out and one that the labels didn't have to make him put out was for him to create it himself. So once you do that, then the labels are like, oh, you know what? Let's partner up. No longer are they signing you as an artist. Now they're partnering up with you. It's a difference. Before it was I own you pretty much. And now it's, oh, we're partners. And you get to make your own rules. You get to sign your own. You are what you negotiate every time. I don't care what it is. A record label, you're buying a new car, you're buying a home. Doesn't matter. You are what you negotiate. Contracts are so real. So now, you don't need any of this. You don't need the label to put you out. You have TuneCore. You have iTunes, you have Spotify, you have everything, and all it is an upload and a drop and a move on. You can pick your date anywhere from a week out. I'm putting out a record next week. You are how? Because it's on Spotify. They told me I could. It's all very easy today. So I say all this to say, well, I absolutely love the music industry. I love that I was able to come up in a music industry where when we made songs, records, you had to get the batter, get the eggs, get the milk, get the sugar, get everything, and bake the cake. Today, pop it out of the bag, put it in the microwave, boom, it's done. So I love the fact that I actually learned this business as opposed to getting in it and not understanding any information. The youth today really have no idea who an AD is, who a Nikki D is. We still go on tour. We still do shows. We still perform because there's still a base for us that actually wants to see us perform. So we still have that love, but if we come to anywhere like where there's anybody 20 years or younger, it's like, oh, Auntie Nikki. You know what I mean? Nana Nikki. Because we are completely fossils to them, which is fine, but you will always need us and we will always be there for you, 100%. We will always be there for you. So don't ever think for 1 second that you cannot reach out to what they consider an OG, which is an original. They say gangster, but we're not gangsters, right? No. Thank you. You can always reach out to us via whatever information we have out there. Ask questions. We have no problem with helping you out as much as we can. But be clear, no matter what level you are on in the music industry, it is always business, 100%. And that's my story.
Did I say said G? Said G from Ultramagnetic. I just want to make sure, we acknowledge him. We also have Nay. She's like my sister here, but she's a Cole-Crush Brothers queen from the Crush, but also she was one of the Zulu queens from back in the day. She's sitting right to your left, to your left.
Okay. Hey.
And we want to thank. We have the fellows. I think is some of the fellows here, Hanan? So hopefully we get some questions from you all. I'm just saying, it's Nikki D is like, she's the yang to my yin. She's a Virgo, and we're actually born on the same date, September 10th.
Any Virgos?
Both of us. Yeah. So it was when Miss Hanan Amin had said, I'm going to be doing something up in Connecticut, I was like, oh, Nikki D. And because thank you. It's an honor to sit with you. And I have the ultimate respect for you, and your information is definitely important.
Thank you, as yours is.